Hello, welcome back to the BCS podcast, episode 6, week 9. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess we can just start off with how was everyone's weekends?
Uh, it's all right. The weather was awesome in Michigan for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then not awesome for the last couple of days. It's went from 70 degrees to 40 degrees in 2 days. So it'll be better.
Gotta love the Midwest when it's like beautiful weather for nice Friday night out, nice Saturday, and then now it's like 40 degrees. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Good performance by some of our players on certain teams, but some others weren't so great. So
yeah, interesting week of college football, that's for sure. Not a very, very exciting week, but there was a couple good upsets. I think we should start off. We'll start off a little bit, and we'll start off with Indiana almost upsetting Penn State. They got the ball back via a turnover, the first turnover of the year from Drew Alar, with a little bit of time left. I think it was 2 minutes left on the 40-yard line, and Tom Allen decided to run, and they took a field goal to tie the game instead of play for the win. Don't understand the ideas there, but most of their points came on broken plays throughout the game, but an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, at one point, Indiana was averaging 9 yards of play, absolutely gashing what I was told was a very good Penn State defense. At the half, I believe Indiana had 260 yards passing or something stupid.
Yep.
And then he only had like 10 yards passing in the second half. They went away from what they were doing in the first half, and they just relied on short plays and field goals. Again, if you're a 30-point underdog, all right, and you're in the game for the 3.5 quarters, you got to play reckless, Tom Allen. Like, dude, your job's in the line. You win that, you get at least another season out of that one win.
And they had them. They were right there, ready to go in, score, and they just were like, you know what? We're gonna play for overtime. We're gonna play for overtime. And it was like you just could kind of see it just slipping away when they didn't score a touchdown there. Like, you just kind of felt like, okay, Penn State's going to win this game before anything else happens. Like, it's just going to happen that way. So other than that, I mean, Drew Alar kind of looked average again.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing I take away from this is after the moves that Indiana made offensively, firing their offensive coordinator a couple weeks ago, it's kind of pretty good to see them finally gain a little bit of ground on the offense. It hasn't really been a thing we've seen too much, but I mean, they had the chance to win it. They had a good chance to win it, and they kind of threw it away.
The one thing I will say is Indiana, they literally score first every week on everybody. Like, every week. But this week, they just didn't stop with that. Like, normally, like we've seen, they took the lead on Ohio State early. They took the lead on Michigan early. And Penn State could not put them away. If I'm a Penn State fan, also, by the way, shout out to the best student section in America, Penn State, for having a probably 60% empty student section.
I think it was a rebellious thing because they were sick of the James Franklin every week show up an hour before the game, show up and be loud type thing. And they gave a real good show up and be proud performance against Ohio State, and then everybody's like, why would we come to this noon game?
I would have left too.
I would have. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of issues with him. Some things he said so far that people are just like, you know what? If you can't get us over the hump, we're not going to listen to you. We're kind of over it.
Indiana is a very interesting team. I mean, they played Ohio State relatively tough. They beat Indiana State FCS. They played Louisville really tough. They beat Akron in 4 overtimes. They played Maryland tough. They played Rutgers tough, and they took freaking Penn State to the wire. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, pretty much every team outside of Michigan they've played has been like a very competitive game for at least the first half, and if not a majority of the second half. So And it's crazy. I mean, Penn State, I mean, you can kind of see by the discourse online and even the fan base, obviously with the reaction in the crowd, they're done. They understand it's going to be 10-2 again, maybe even 9-3. I mean, a team could pop them at this point. I mean, Drew Eller's nothing special because when you look at Sean Clifford, okay, yes, he lost you games. He also won you a lot of games, and they don't realize that. Like when you're a team like Penn State, where you're not the talent level of Ohio State, and you're not at the coaching or even like I don't know manpower level of Michigan, because obviously they're kind of recruiting the same level there. You need some sort of X factor craziness. Like if you look at the Michigan Penn State game last year, we outgained them by like 300 yards. We did everything better than by a ton. I mean, the only reason they were still in that game is because Sean Clifford freaking took a QB sneak, like fake play for 80 yards to the 1 yard line. And then, they had one or two crazy plays and like, that's it. Drew Aller can't do any of that. Like he's Cade McNamara again. It's crazy.
They hated Sean Clifford. Remember?
Yeah.
Sean Clifford. And like I said, the students who sat right behind me at the Ohio State Penn State game, every time Aller got on the field, they'd be like, "Oh, 5-star Drew Aller coming on the field right now." And it was like, guys, hasn't been that impressive. Like, it's got to be coaching. Am I wrong in thinking that? Or is it the scheme? Like, I don't know what it is.
Some guys just don't have it. Like, I mean, you look at Penn State and Ohio State, both kind of want a different change at quarterback, and both, I think, would take them back in 10 seconds.
Yeah. So that was an interesting game. Interesting way to start off the day. Everybody was kind of in shock once they saw some of the moments of that game. Next game, an upset alert, but how much of an upset was it really? Because of the way this team's looked. Northwestern wins 33-27 over Maryland. Michigan native Brennan Sullivan, he's balling out a little bit ever since they kind of went to him.
If you let someone go for 310 all-purpose yards for you as a quarterback of Northwestern, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like Maryland's falling apart. Maryland is doing their typical what everybody said that I didn't think was true, but they're doing it. That's 2 in a row now.
I mean, for the first part of the season, everyone kind of looked at Maryland and was like, well, they had that hiccup against Charlotte where they were down 14-0. Then they blew the doors off of them. They blew out Indiana for the most part. I mean, and then they got to Ohio State and it was 10-10 at halftime. And they were like, okay, different Maryland team. They're sticking around. And then they lost by 20. And it was like, I didn't even like. Here's the thing: Ohio State, Penn State was all I was focused on the week they played Illinois, and it was like I just remember catching a glimpse of the score, and I'm like, they lost to Illinois, a team who can't win a football game, and they gave up 27 points. I mean, and now you lose to Northwestern, and they had a shot at the end.
Yeah,
just 2 overthrew the receiver. It got picked off. But it's like I watched a decent amount of that game. I was flipping back and forth and everything. They're just not a good football team. I mean,
Kevin Sumlin got arrested, which meant Josh Gaddis went from to full offensive coordinator. And that was all she wrote. 14 points against Josh Gaddis is hilarious. I am so excited for the mid-off that is going to happen in Maryland, Penn State. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And then the final game we'll touch on before we get to our teams. Nebraska 5-3. Kind of blows out Purdue. 31-14. There's not very many stat card. Like I'm looking at the box score. There is well over 8 receivers that caught a pass rushed the ball for Nebraska. There is like 3 running backs for Purdue, and the same with receivers. I mean, didn't look like very many playmakers made plays for Purdue. Didn't really get a whole chance to watch this one.
Game got fun at the end. Jeff Sims came in, and he turned it over twice on 2 drives, and it was 2 touchdowns for Purdue. So I think it was 28-0 going in, and then Jeff Sims came in, gave up 2 touchdowns. Everyone's like, holy shit, is Purdue at a backdoor like crazy? But shout out Nebraska, first 3-game win streak since 2016. That's some wild shit.
Yeah, they look like they're really turning it around. I can say if they played Minnesota right now, they'd win. They'd definitely beat Minnesota.
Hey,
That would be another
it
one
helps
for
the
them.
tiebreaker chances in case Michigan screws up in Happy Valley.
Yes. And then we'll move on. Next game. Minnesota at home beats my Michigan State Spartans 27-12. Kind of a rough, ugly game. We have 2 turnovers in the first quarter. Both end up with field goals. Then we get the ball back again. Miss a 50-yard field goal. Not much going for the offense this week. Mr. Hauser had 12-22. But then we kind of switched it up with the quarterbacks. Brought in Sam Levitt. He threw a touchdown to get us our first touchdown on the board, and then threw an interception the next drive. Any sort of momentum we had kind of went away. The defense was on the field for, I don't know, three quarters of the game, and actually played a really good game. There was moments where they gave up some big plays, but the offense didn't seem to get off the field for very much of the game. I mean, it started off fumble, field goal, fumble, field goal, punt, 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 punt. Like it, there was many of opportunities to score points and nobody capitalized. Jordan Nubbin was the key for Minnesota, 204 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
On 40 carries.
On 40 carries in a 29-degree day. So that's a big game for him. Props to him. But yeah, there wasn't really much to talk about other than that. There wasn't huge things that stood out. Just kind of one of those games where we were in it just like a couple weeks this year, and the offense couldn't capitalize on some points. And I don't really think there's much else on that.
End of the first quarter, you had 9 yards of offense and 6 points.
I think we had like 770 at halftime or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know Urban can
I don't know. Yeah. Well, hey. When you run the ball 3 times and pass the ball on third down, it's kind of obvious that we're going to run the ball 3 times and pass the ball. And we'll move on to the nightcap, the big game of the day in Wisconsin. Cozy, thoughts? The good, the bad, the ugly.
McCord. Bad. Just not looking away defensive backs, throwing into double coverage, not even looking where he's throwing the ball. Josh Fryer actually had a really bad game. He kind of got dominated somewhat to a certain extent. Overall, I mean, I'm just going to say right now, and I am here to push this narrative. They're getting it done one way or the other. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, they're not looking flashy. Guess what? I really don't care if they look flashy. If they don't, to me, it's like, just get the wins. Travion Henderson though. Wow. Awesome game. Looks like he's back. Looks like he's back. He's got that pep in his step again. And it was good change of pace. Chip Trainum kind of struggled a little bit, but he wasn't terrible. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he didn't get very many carries. Xavier Johnson had a few carries on the end arounds, things like that. I kind of like what they're doing there, but Travion Henderson was just outstanding. He fueled this offense. And then I'm going to say it, Marvin Harrison Jr. has got to get an invite to New York. And if he doesn't, then we're doing something wrong. I mean, he has just been phenomenal. He is the main key to our offense. And it's just one of those things where he's just got to get an invite. I'm just saying it right now. Defense looked good again. Also, I'd like to say, are we just so lucky that everyone decides to miss field goals against us? I mean, legit, every week I feel like the other team misses a field goal against us. Wisconsin had a chance to tie it. Now, granted, it was a 54-yard field goal, but he wasn't even close. Like, I'm not sure it made it the distance. I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, we won by 14. Yes, it was close. down the stretch. People can like point to it and say, hey, you guys should be blowing out teams. You should be doing this and that. And it's like, yeah, kind of we should. But at the same time, I'm not totally there where I'm like nervous about this team yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the field goal at the end of the half by Wisconsin. They came right out. They tied it up. And everyone was like, oh, panic, panic, panic. And then, you know what? Honestly, Cotton McCord had a really, really nice drive down the field. And then, obviously, Marvin Harrison just – that catch was – if he doesn't catch that, like, should have been maybe pass interference called on that. Hand in his face. Defender didn't even turn around. And he just made a phenomenal catch. I don't know. Overall, a win's a win. Get out of Madison with a win. Didn't even know this until after the game. That's the first time Wisconsin's lost at home at night by double digits in, like, I think they said 30 years. So I'll take that. I mean, it's a tough place to play, jump around. So outside of that,
it was a very interesting game.
It was. It almost seemed like there was like from outsider standpoint, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like a very choppy game, very sloppy.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments.
I turned it off. I lost interest.
Yeah, I mean, Braylon Allen could have most definitely capitalized, but he got hurt right before the halftime. So I think it would have been a little bit different of an outcome. I still think Ohio State was kind of in control, especially in the second half. But I think it would have been a little bit closer if he was still in the game because they tried to throw the ball way too much.
That was his first ever start, right? Braden Locke, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he looked good. He looked pretty good.
Like 18, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Fourth string running back, getting cute on the goal line.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when you throw the ball 3 times on the goal line with freaking your personnel and Braylon Allen, I understand you're trying to do this cutesy bullshit with the air raid. Dude, you're Wisconsin. Like,
just run the ball.
Like,
yeah, just run the ball.
You're Wisconsin. Like, you have the ability to be able to run the ball close, and you're running like screens to Braylon Allen on the goal line.
Yeah,
like, dude, run up the middle 4 times. Odds are he's getting 2 yards or a yard. Like, goddamn. I don't know, man. Like,
I think that's his second. Isn't that his second start?
Something. It was very. He's very early in his career.
He's the one who led the comeback against Illinois the week before. Which
there you go.
I didn't even realize that they were like getting their. They were kind of getting their brains beaten by Illinois, and then came back in the fourth. I did not realize that.
No, Wisconsin is struggling. I mean, they should have lost to Georgia Southern at home too.
Here's the thing:
they are overplay in this game or no?
Yes.
It didn't. Yeah, I didn't see a lot from
we got no catches. I was checking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
interesting that he's on the freaking Blitnikoff finalist and not Roman Wilson, who leads the country in touchdowns.
Yeah,
going into this week.
So now we can go to the bye week. The bye week for Blake
because they couldn't steal the Suns.
Yeah, we had the best win of the weekend, beating the allegations. A lot of things have happened. It seems that every report that's been coming out by the national media is getting instantly shot down by anybody with a brain. First it came off the Connor Stallions getting paid for all of this. It was his own money. Pretty much everything's in the clear. He should be getting released in the program soon based on all sources. He's going to get caught with a lone wolf thing. Michigan's going to get 1 or 2 level 2 or level 3 allegations. The NFL is trying to blackball Harbaugh, which is bad news for everyone else because he's about to sign the extension. The extension that Ohio State fans try to say was pulled, including the West. Let me clarify: the female reporter is a Michigan grad. She should have her degree burned and nullified for lying. She got caught lying. Someone leaked the text of her talking about it. She got caught lying. Nothing was pulled. It's still on the table. Who in their right mind would sign someone to anything during the investigation, during this witch hunt?
That is correct.
You look at all this stuff, and that's the best part is people are like, oh, why isn't Michigan talking about this ongoing investigation? Do you not just answer the question in your question? It's an ongoing investigation. It's a gag order. Again, every coach has talked about it except the anonymous coach in Ohio, whose brother coincidentally owns a FBI firm or a private investigator firm called Fourth and Short that was made right after they got their ass beat by Clemson. things are interesting. So listen,
these are all allegations. These are all assumptions.
A lot more information's coming out. I mean, you can look up his LinkedIn on Christopher Day. He's got a public LinkedIn. You can look up all that stuff.
That year that we got our ass beat by Clemson, company. Did you guys win? Did you guys beat us that year?
Of course not. We got cheated. And you look at it.
We got cheated.
Oh yeah, we got cheated. Listen. There's a morality in things where teams can just take losses. And if my coach was hiring a federal investigator to go after the opposing teams of the guys I lost to every time and claim that every team that beat me is because they were cheating, it's kind of funny. But everyone does this. Everyone signs deals. Sorry, Michigan's the leaders and the best and found a legal loophole in it. Did we cheat? Sure. I think people that know Michigan, the fact that Michigan's like pretty much openly cheating should scare everyone involved because we've been getting in our own way for so long that, listen, man, we have a very good opportunity where we're going to freaking win the national championship. We're going to extend Harbaugh and get Bryce Underwood. It's going to be over for everyone involved. That's what I want to know. The bear is awoken. When my coach is quoting damn William Wallace from Braveheart in press conferences and calling Ryan Day a houseplant, I'm loving it.
These are all assumptions, and nothing has been confirmed through the media yet or through the investigation.
What has not been confirmed that I said?
Well, you basically said that everything, that what levels and everything. Nobody knows anything yet. Nothing's been confirmed. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Contract was not pulled. I will put the link to Ryan Day's LinkedIn in the LinkedIn bio.
Yeah,
right ahead.
But we're still, we haven't finished the investigation, so this is Blake's thoughts.
I was told my coach should be fired by now.
Yeah.
Those people know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. So let's move on to the top 25 of the week. A couple big games. First one, Georgia rolls. Kind of not a huge close game. Everybody kind of expected this for them to come back out and show that they're one of the best teams in the country. Ohio State, we already talked about. Florida State rolls. They proved that they needed a statement game, and they kind of had it. Wasn't really close at all. Big day from
Wake Forest.
Yeah, Wake Forest unserious. Washington with a interesting game again late at night. For some reason, they can't just make it easy on themselves.
Should have lost.
Yeah,
dude. That kid dropped that wide open fourth down.
Penix balled out though, 4 touchdowns, showing why he's probably still the Heisman favorite at this moment.
Can we actually talk about Washington real quick? They started off so hot, and now I'm like doubting them. Like
they started vibes. Can I say it?
Yeah.
I don't know if they give me TCU. They don't give me TCU vibes anymore.
No, like escaping at the last death. TCU won out of TCU's 12 wins. I think 9 were on losing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but Washington hasn't been that bad because, I mean, yes, they won the Oregon game in the come from behind fashion and a mess up by Lanning, but they were dominant up until that Oregon game. And yeah, I don't know.
I should have lost the last 2 games, man.
Yeah.
And their schedule is nothing to write home about. They got at USC, who is a dead program, should have lost to Cal. Then they got Utah at home, at Oregon State, and then Washington State, who's going to be playing with unknown fury and anger from getting millions of dollars stolen from them. So you never know.
Yeah, so Washington, I mean, Penix is still putting up crazy numbers every week.
Yeah, I mean,
they seem
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's still insane. That's still a pretty damn good game.
Let my guy JJ play a fourth quarter. Someone give me a challenge.
He will next week. Right? Next week? Penn State next week?
Oh, I thought you meant this upcoming weekend. I was about to
No, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now.
I don't know. I would not be surprised.
If the challenge, then we got worrisome.
I would not be surprised if he doesn't play in the fourth quarter against Penn State.
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
Yeah. The big upset of the day, Kansas at home upsets Oklahoma. I don't know how many people saw this to be a thing that would happen.
Did it, man. They almost did it 2 years ago, and they finally did it. Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
they
like
threw the
last
field.
time, some crazy stuff happened. The power went out 2 years ago. This time,
The rain
the
delay.
lightning delay for like
Yeah,
an hour and a
lightning
half.
delay. It was like forever.
And they took a page out of Tennessee's book and ripped those damn goalposts and threw them into the lake.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
funny.
It was
Freezing that
awesome.
lake. Ugh. Hey, look,
Yeah.
as long as they had a good weekend, they lost to Illinois in basketball, so at least they have something good happening to them.
Yeah. Note on that. There is a one specific player that plays for Kansas now who still hasn't changed his ways. He's still a little dirty, so it should be interesting to see how the season goes.
Not a Michigan State football guy talking about dirty play. Oh my goodness,
Hey,
that clip was damning.
Hey, he put his elbow into the guy and slammed him to the ground. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
People's elbow is a legal move in football.
The big ranked top 15 matchup of Oregon Utah was did not seem like a top 15 matchup. Oregon started off hot and finished hot. 35-6 with 0 points combined in the fourth quarter. So basically it was just a wash at that point for that. Oregon was just rolling. Utah got
surgical,
nothing.
man. I know
Utah got nothing going.
I know I mentioned last week that Penix plus 3,000 was crazy Heisman odds. Like, I think that he'll have a pretty good argument in the championship game.
Bo Nix, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know who the hell I was talking about. But, yeah. Like, this team, they have the tendencies of a team that's going to be really good. And if they can keep it together, they're fine. They got a fiery coach that clearly is got the whole locker room behind him. They've got a very experienced quarterback in Bo Nix. Dude's old as hell. And they got an elite – they got, pros on the edge, receiver. They got a solid defense. Bucky Irving's a damn good back. This team's going to be a tough out in the playoff. I'll let you know that right now. But it'll be interesting to see if they have to play Georgia or Michigan.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the late. We'll skip that. We'll save that for the end because I think that's an interesting one to talk about.
America's team will be last.
America's team will be last. America's after midnight team will be last. Notre Dame rolls. Ole Miss rolls. Texas rolls. And let's talk about next. We'll talk about the big upset in Georgia. Georgia Tech upsets North Carolina.
Right. So I'm glad we're bringing this up because I want to talk about them.
Yeah.
They are the weirdest team in college football right now. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a report out there. Georgia Tech has won games 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Yep.
This includes a loss in week 3 to Bowling Green.
Yeah.
I was told they were a bad team. Bowling Green is a respectable program. All of Michigan's out of conference opponents a Power 5 win, more than Michigan State. Continue.
It gets worse. They have played 3 ranked teams this year. All three of these ranked teams, they are 2-1 against, but all 3 were ranked 17th in the country when they played them. Okay? Here's the other thing is. So, let's see. Their last 4 games, where is it here? Okay, here we go. They have scored 254 points this year. They have given up 254 points this year. They have had 33 touchdowns. They've allowed 33 touchdowns.
Yeah, they are.
Also, they have led by 2+ possessions and 2 losses and trailed by 2+ possessions in 2 of their wins.
Yeah.
This team's awesome.
This team is
it gets even better.
Oh, God.
King, their quarterback, has thrown for over 300 yards in 3 out of their 4 losses.
The best part is, what number game is Georgia?
Georgia is game 12 and Clemson is game 10.
Oh my! Can we see it happen? You never know.
You know what the funny thing is, and it's really random. I was randomly looking up Georgia Tech, Georgia one day, and their rivalry because someone was talking about it in a space, and the Georgia fan was saying how Georgia Tech has kind of beat them somewhat over the past decades. It's 6-4 Georgia over the past decade. It's not a runaway rivalry like everyone thinks it is. Georgia Tech always finds a way to like upset them.
I mean, the last time though, like 2014, 15?
Like 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, Georgia Tech won at Georgia the last time that like I think it was like 2019.
So
yeah.
Here's the thing I want to mention, and I think this is a pretty bold statement, but it's not that crazy. I think this is the Drake May show, and it's just about him getting drafted at this point. I don't think there is a ton of insanely good talent. Tez Walker got hurt, and I think he's out for a while, if not the whole season. And I think this is just kind of, I think this is just, I mean, he threw for 310 and 2 touchdowns, but I mean, at this point, they're just putting film for him to get drafted higher.
What's their back's name? Their running back is good. It was British Brooks, and I think it's like Omarion Hampton or something. That kid,
Omarion
they're
Hampton.
a much more balanced team than they were last year. So
yeah, I mean,
they're losing their quarterback because this team next year going forward will be pretty good. Yeah, Omarion Hampton had 30 carries. So
I mean, people kind of are starting to say this team's kind of falling downhill and they won't be able to catch up for a while. And I don't know. We'll see.
They're still alive in the ACC.
Yeah, you know who else is still alive in the ACC? Virginia Tech.
Okay, by the way, I am corrected.
And
They've
Georgia
won
Tech
3 times. They've won 3 times in the past 10, but they haven't won since 2016.
Okay.
So,
so let's keep on looking. Tennessee,
but still,
goes to Kentucky.
I mean, it's not like it's like just a runaway run.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even.
I know Blake was talking about it for a little while. Yeah, I was on the same time as your game.
Yeah, I watched
pretty
much the entire game. It was really good. Tennessee's now won 36 of the last 39 games between these two teams. So everyone was getting cute picking Kentucky to win. Joe Milton played lights out again. Tennessee's run defense, very good. As some of us know, the running back Ray Davis is very good at football.
Insane.
He was held to lower stuff than Georgia was. I don't want to. Yeah, he had 16 carries for 42 yards. I don't want along of 8 too. So like it was nothing big. The D line is real good right now for him, but they've gotten back to this thing with Tennessee. All right, Tennessee's averaging like 6 or 7 yards a carry, like sack adjusted, the last few games, and it's just run. Joe Milton will launch a cannon every once in a while, but since they're running and getting these like 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 3s, they have the ability to throw a huge deep pass, and Milton's able just to launch out of a cannon. And they've got 3 legit backs: Jalen Wright, Dylan Sampson, Jabari Small. The receivers are starting to come on a little bit. This team's built to beat the big ones. Obviously, I said it was built to beat Bama. I think they did. They kind of beat Bama. I mean, the first half, and then just fell apart. But I'll tell you right now, Georgia's going to be a tough game. They'll be like a 10-point underdog. It gives me vibes that Alabama game last year, where it's like, look, like it'll be the opposite way of scoring. Instead of 100 points, it'll be probably closer to 50 or so. But Tennessee can hang with them. They're going to be a tough out, and they don't lose a ton this season. So I think when Joe Milton gets out of there and they put Nico back there, this is going to be a very fun team to watch next season. And it does talk that they've messed up and lost 2 games they definitely shouldn't have. But hey,
the kind of a bigger game in the day. Ethan Garbers had a big day for UCLA. Started off pretty slow. It was like 6-7 at halftime against Colorado. Ended up winning 28-16. I mean, hey, they kind of are right in that middle of the road, Pac-12 team, and they're kind of right where they were last season. I don't think they really missed a huge step from DTR to Ethan Garbers now. I think they're kind of in that same area where they'll probably finish with 3 or 4 losses by the end of the year.
Horrible targeting call in this game on
Shiloh
Sanders. Dude loved his shoulder. Everything was perfect. And then they got all their stuff robbed in the locker room. So losing on and off the field for Colorado.
Yeah, it was a rough day for them. The team that keeps spiraling downhill, USC, wins 50-49 and should have lost another game. Cal goes for 2 right at the last time they had the ball and didn't get it. They didn't want to play for overtime.
I respect that move, though.
Yeah, I do.
That's why you got to coach a huge underdog. You know,
like it.
obviously you're a 10-point underdog, but
Yeah,
it's
you have
Cal
nothing to
versus
lose.
USC.
Yeah.
The optics there, yeah. You know, the game started with a bunch of climate protesters on the field, delaying kickoff by half an hour.
Yep.
But like again, you were only a 10-point dog. You were in it the whole time. Obviously, I think it's more than an optics thing. Like you got Cal that can barely beat anyone playing the Heisman Trophy contender. I love you go for 2 at the end every time.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You
I
are
think
at
that's
home, so it's maybe a bit weirder, but still, I mean, love that attitude.
I also wanted to kind of hit on it. Cal may have found a really good quarterback here in the future. Fernando Mendez, or Mendoza, or however, I think it's Mendoza. He looked really good in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay, look, I know it's USC, but he's also only a freshman. So let's see what he has going forward.
Same with Jade Knott. I mean, the running back.
Yeah,
I mean, he 21 carries for 150 yards. I mean,
every once in a while, Cal will get these players that come out of left field. People forget that Marshawn Lynch went there. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Deshaun
Jackson Allen.
Who was your receiver that? Oh, Deshaun Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, he went to Cal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like Cal, they're not going to be a bad team. Now USC though, a hot take here. Lincoln Riley is not going to be coaching USC after this year.
Yes, he is the Big Ten coach going to the NFL. I've been saying it the whole time. It's him.
Yeah.
Not Jimmy. It's him.
I mean,
dude was faking illness all week. You see, lost in all the fun of making fun of Michigan was him, like legit. He missed practice 2 days with the illness, shows up to a press conference and goes, "Oh yeah, we didn't lose to Utah. They just had all of our signs. They're really good at stealing signs." And then leaves and then calls in sick the next day. This guy's a coward. Like, come on.
Yeah, and now we get to talk about everybody's favorite team, America's favorite team after midnight. Shout out to Chap. Shout out to America. Shout out to everybody who's a part of this Pac-12 After Dark. The Arizona Wildcats. Noah Fifta keeps on rolling. I don't know what it is, but they've lost now 3 games by double digits or less. 2 of those games to top, I think, 20 opponents, top 10 maybe even. And yeah, they're kind of legit. I mean, 5-3. They had a couple bad losses, which they could have won. They went 50-50, but being a number 11 Oregon State, the way that they did, with a horrible fake field goal call at halftime for Oregon State. I don't know what they were thinking there. But Arizona keeps us entertained all night. I think that's the big thing to take away from it.
Chap said in his tweet, he goes, it's a weekly tradition of watching Arizona take a top 25 team to the friggin' wire every week. And it's
here's
like,
the thing.
I go to bed. Nope, this team can't put them away. And listen, man, I'm telling you. Tell me you would not take this guy as your coach, Zach.
Yeah, I know. It's
insane. Up with absolute nobody.
They went from nothing 2 years ago, I think 1 or 2 wins, to now, 5-3.
Think about it. They just lost their best recruit they've ever had in the history of the school. Yeah. I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing, okay? The next week, I just talked highly about UCLA. Where does UCLA have to go to? To Arizona. At night. We're going to have another team
to die.
Yeah.
At night, 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Perfect.
After dark.
If you're not betting Arizona, you're fiscally irresponsible.
Or you might be very irresponsible for betting Arizona.
I'm going to check the line right now. I want to see what it is. Hold on.
Yeah. So we got, I mean, they have a very favorable schedule for the rest of the year. UCLA at Colorado.
Could they backdoor their way into a Pac-12 title game?
No, because they have 2 losses. Yeah, unless Oregon somehow loses.
I was going to say, who would hold the tiebreaker between them and Oregon?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting.
UCLA is a 2.5-point favorite. So once again, Arizona is being given points at night.
Yeah,
at home.
At home. They're like the best team at home ever.
Look, man, you'll be just getting tired. You just watched the absolute
And you know
points
what?
fest in Washington, USC, and the instant classic of LSU, Alabama, right into America's team. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Other thing, big shout out. I've seen Pac-12 After Dark Arizona games before, and no one's at those games. They had a great crowd there.
Yeah, they were loud.
Great
Their
crowd.
coach, when they rushed the field, he's
Great crowd.
like, this crowd is insane. We need this every week now.
Yeah,
It's like, I can't
it
wait
was
for
a
next week.
Great
now.
crowd.
Yeah, it was
So,
awesome. I mean,
Well, eligible next week. I'm pretty sure they were like a 5.5 win total in the season.
Yeah.
So it's great
Yeah.
for them, man.
yeah. So that's a huge thing. I love Arizona. Won't stop loving them. That's America's team right now. I don't care what anybody else.
Bear down, baby.
Yeah, bear down. So let's get into the slate for this week. Just kind of go over real quick. We'll start off with the noon games. First off, Wisconsin travels to Indiana, which should be a little bit more interesting than people think, but it's gonna be not very many points. No, I don't think there's gonna be very many points. I think it's gonna be like kind of a.
We're getting there, Michael. We're getting there.
Well,
We're getting there.
go
Continue,
ahead.
Zach.
Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
No. We're getting there. Keep going.
Nope, I don't know. We're getting to the least amount of points in the world by the end of this. What?
That's what we were talking about. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So Nebraska versus Michigan State.
Oh, geez.
Nebraska's a 3-point favorite.
You're winning that game based on the line, Zach. You know that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that means you're winning.
Yeah, I hope so. The over-under is 34. We're getting worse and worse each game that we talk about over-unders. So we're just going to skip the other noon game, and we're going to go straight into the other games that have worse points, and then we'll come back around. So we went from 45 to 34, and now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty over-under 31 points in a 3:30 kick on the Peacock only. Iowa versus Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Wrigley.
They literally decided
to put a game
to make this in Wrigley,
and Peacock only.
And
like,
Peacock
what?
only.
Like what?
No. Okay, first off, if I'm a TV productionist, I am not going to be like, oh, you know what? This game's going to be in Wrigley. We're going to throw it on the Peacock only. Like.
That's like backwards. Why wouldn't you want to?
Why did NBC not at least step up and be like, okay, we're going to throw this game at 7:30 on NBC?
That would have been insane. Nobody would have watched it.
I mean, right now, okay, hold on. The 7:30 NBC game is not that good this week. It's going to be a massacre.
Yes. What?
America's team is playing.
No, America's team is playing at 10:30.
Sorry, the villains are playing.
The villains. Yeah, so
the Evil Empire, yes.
We'll flip back around, back to noon. Rutgers versus Ohio State. Cozy.
Thoughts? I mean, it's Rutgers. It's 18.5. Shiano's going to play us tough. He always does. He always like does the weirdest plays against Ohio State, like double reverse passes and like just unthinkable things. So. I think Rutgers covers, just like I said last week, and you guys all trashed me when I said Wisconsin was going to cover, and guess what? They covered by a half point. So I think that they're going to cover again. I mean, I don't think we're going to lose. I'm not worried, but.
All right.
Rutgers is built to beat Ohio State, and I'm very interested.
Here we go.
I'm very interested to see the health of Kyle McCord, and if you're going to put in the 7th-year guy that went to college before I did and still is at school, whatever the kid is, the Oregon State kid. Because Jimmy Holes was not warming up, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, I thought he would have at least got a shot in the game.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
When I heard Gibbia was warming up, I was like, oh.
I know. I said, let's go prior to the Dakotas, and everyone's like, no. I'm like, oh, really? Interesting. But the dual threat ability of Wimstats will be very interesting. We've been able to see that everyone's been able to run the ball in Ohio State. Really, Magana is one of the best running backs they have in the Big Ten. Kid's real good over at Rutgers. Obviously, he doesn't get a lot of lick because he's at Rutgers, but. I mean, as long as you have Marvin Harrison with a pulse, they should be fine. I mean, again, if he goes down at any point, this team is in deep shit. So, and the way I keep using him and you keep throwing these balls, dude, I said it reminds me of Calvin Johnson with Matthew Stafford, where Matthew Stafford was just putting this dude in like hospital positions. He was throwing him terrible balls. And like every week it's like, oh, Calvin Johnson has 3 broken ribs, 2 broken fingers and a concussion. It's like, but he had 8 catches, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Hey,
so like, shoot, man.
Just remember that is Super Bowl winning quarterback Matthew Stafford.
Yes, it is.
Know. Yeah, we know.
But
next game.
I think Rutgers covers comfortably, but Ohio State wins comfortably. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's 18.5 point spread. Yes, we could win by 17 or be up by 10 and score a late touchdown.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think Rutgers will be within 10 points the whole time.
Okay.
He's writing his notes.
You heard that. Remember that this is it. Like 45 minutes into this, he said they'll be within 10 points the whole time.
Yep. Yeah. Penn State versus Maryland. Penn State travels to Maryland in what might be one of the weirdest games I think I'm going to see. I don't know what to expect from it. It's now Josh.
Easy. Am I crazy?
What'd you say?
The over 50 seems easy. Am I crazy?
No.
Like, I think that's like they can hit it at halftime. I know Penn State sucks on offense, but all Gaddis is going to do is to chuck it deep for the entire game.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I actually think that Penn State is going to get sick of hearing that they suck for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
I hope they open their playbook up so we have everything.
I don't think they're going to open the playbook up, but I think that their defense is going to literally shut Maryland down.
All right.
Hopefully.
We'll move on to Minnesota versus Illinois. Yikes. I don't know. Like Minnesota is going to just run all over Illinois, and I think it's going to be over at halftime.
I mean, I could go coin flip here because Minnesota still has not been good.
I just don't see.
Every game coin flip. I swear to God, I might go back and do this as like a fun side project. I want to look at the record if you took every underdog in the Big Ten West money line.
Yeah.
You've got to be up a lot of money because those games are all toss-ups, man.
And everybody thought Illinois was going to win the big, or like come close to winning. Some people thought Illinois was going to come close,
and he was an Illinois fan.
Yeah, well,
I might have said that I thought Illinois. I might have thought, or I might have said at one point that I thought Illinois had a very good shot to win the Big Ten West.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was wrong.
We're all wrong in the Big Ten West. Honestly, it's like lotto tickets, man. At this point, it's going to be freaking.
I mean, one week we thought Iowa was going to be like the team to beat, and then Minnesota went out and beat them.
Exactly. The freaking Michigan Northwestern championship game this year is going to do numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be. Lord help us.
Wait, is Northwestern like one game out of the lead? Like actually,
yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Northwestern.
They might be tied. No,
they're 2-3.
There is a legit possibility, I believe, that everyone can end up 4 and 5. Is that correct?
That'd be awesome. We need something fun for the last year of the Big Ten West.
Yeah. And then we'll move to the absolute slaughter fest in Ann Arbor. It's not going to be close. It's probably going to be over at halftime. You won't see JJ in the second half, and Complain's going to complain.
I'm sure there's good people at Purdue. Shit happens, man. Like it's not necessarily their fault that they're the team we have to play after like 2 weeks of pent-up aggression, man. But look, it happens. We've got a great streak on the line. This is a Blake Stackpool sabermetric stat that has zero backing or confirmation to it, but I'm going to say it like it's true anyway. This would be the longest streak in conference history in which a team has covered the over themselves and the opposing team has gone under the point total. That's a Blake Stackpool sabermetric stat. It probably isn't true, but I like to think it is. We've done it in 4 straight games. Can it be 5?
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be like 56-0 or 56-7. And it might be like 49-7 at halftime. Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that they're going to open up the offense and JJ's going to throw it all over the place.
This team, I could not tell you more that this team feels so disrespected. Like, this is no Kirby Smart. Let's make some fake news propaganda. Like, the idea and thought process that Michigan is only good because they're cheating is insanity to me. Mm-hmm. Obviously, did it help? No shit. Like, what are we doing here? Of course it helps. But if some people actually are out there like, well, you got to watch out, man.
Are you admitting that this happened? Are you admitting this happened and your coach has actually helped out with it? And actually
Jim had no idea that this was going on. What are you talking about?
Okay.
That being said, if it well, again, what we did is not illegal. Okay, paying people to go film is not illegal. If you want to verify that on me, go to the Ohio State Bucknuts 24/7 message board where their top mod went through and was like, guys, we got to give this up. It's all legal. It went point by point. So listen, if you want, go read the Ohio State message boards. It's the only time we'll ever encourage you to do it until they fire Ryan Day this offseason. And then that coaching search is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the top 25 matchups. Go over a quick few games that we think might be a kind of important
slate. Awesome slate.
Kansas State travels to Texas. Texas still with a backup quarterback. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they start making some mistakes this week.
I'm taking Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, it's close spread.
Kansas has the top 2 quarterbacks in this game. Okay. Yeah. Malik Murphy, I am not impressed. You all wanted him as your transfer fantasy guy, whatever, in the portal. There's Avery Johnson, kid, I think is the kid's name. He comes in and just runs for touchdowns. All right, dude's unbelievable. And then Will Howard is nice. Like, this team's awesome, okay? They're going to do what they did last year. And you're like, wait, who won the Pac-12 last year? Oh, it was Kansas State. What the hell, where'd they come from?
Okay, I'm telling you right now, something's going to happen. Arch is going to get in this game, and he's going to torch Earth.
Oh, wow.
How many games are left in the season?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he could play now.
He could play.
He could play every game and keep his red shirt.
Yeah. 3:30 CBS. One of the final times we'll see one of these games. Georgia hosts Missouri. The line is 16 points. What?
Why are we not seeing this game anymore?
Well, no. We're getting towards the end.
On CBS.
The 3:30 CBS games. We only have 4 weeks left of them.
Okay.
My thought, I think, is the same as Cozy's, where it's like the game we're not going to see anymore at 3:30 is Bedlam.
Yes.
Yeah, that too. Well, that too.
You made a great point. My bad. I jumped the gun.
No.
I was like, what are you talking about?
The CBS 3:30 is coming to an end.
Think about this for all those sad Southerners out there that their football means nothing. You could be this year. You're seeing Missouri, Georgia. Next year, you're getting damn Iowa, Northwestern, and you're gonna like it. Okay.
And the over/under is gonna be 20.
Is gonna come down as it's a field goals. We were talking about this earlier. There might be more runs in a World Series game than in that game going on that weekend. Okay. And the best part is Ferentz is like let go at the end of the year. He's a lame duck offensive coordinator. He already sucks, and now he's lame duck. We're going to have generational offensive incompetence this weekend, and I am here for it.
I just want to know, more punts or points?
Punts.
Do they have more punts than the Jets and Giants?
Dude, last week, one of the teams, I forget who it was, had 26 punts. How do you have 26 punts in the game?
It was like, I think there was 25 punts in that
24 in the Jets-Giants game yesterday.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
By the way, that ending of that game was majestic. I know we're not an NFL podcast, but holy.
I don't know how that kick went through.
Yeah.
It looked off. Okay, I thought that was just me. But hey, I had the option out here in Western New York to watch Cowboys-Rams, which is a point fest, or Jets-Giants. Since I am such a Big Ten loyalist, I watched the Big Ten game. Yeah. Come on.
All right. Next game, the ones you guys already brought up, Oklahoma travels to Oklahoma State. Might be a little bit interesting.
This game's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think
Bedlam. And
yes,
I got the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to say that the Cowboys will.
This is going to be the best home Oklahoma State football game
you'll probably see
in like 2 decades.
This is like LeBron coming home. This is like LeBron, what's his name? Yeah. Kevin Durant back at OKC vibes. Yes. Like they would be throwing shit at players. This would be awesome.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but Texas A&M Texas played the last time, but it was at Texas A&M, not Texas.
Oh yeah.
So, but the Texas band was out there on the field and basically marched out, eat shit, and all this other stuff. That is what this is going to be. And it's at Oklahoma State, no less. That place is going to be so loud. They're all going to have their poke sticks hitting the wall there, going nuts. I got Oklahoma State winning this game. And I actually think it's not even going to be close.
Really?
I think Oklahoma State blows the doors off them because they're going to be so fired up. The only thing that could make this better is if they wear the black pants, the orange jerseys.
Oh, please. Oh, my goodness. I do unspeakable things for that to happen, man. And I'm telling you right now, this guy, Ollie Gordon, he might play himself into the Heisman race, and he didn't do anything the first few weeks. Dude's got 1,000 yards rushing, and like almost all of them in the last like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I remember this team started off when I was like jokingly saying Oklahoma State's going to win on that Friday night game against Kansas State. I kind of was joking about that. They went outright, and that team, they haven't looked back since. All right, they started off horrible. They lost to South Alabama at home by 28.
There was I'm sure you guys saw the video of the Oklahoma State student when it was 33-7 in the fourth quarter, and he's by himself in the stands, and he just takes a full beer and just straight to the face. And they were talking about that as the worst loss of Oklahoma State's
history.
Yep. And now here they are with a shot to take the lead of the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yes. And the thing that really worries me, though, because again, I think the America is rooting for Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 6-point spread on the road in the craziest atmosphere of all time. Oklahoma State couldn't be higher. Oklahoma couldn't be lower. I mean,
Oklahoma might
out of principle, I have to take Oklahoma against the spread, but my heart is rooting for the Pokies. But my bank account is like, buddy, money signs. This is a hammer spot for Oklahoma against the spread.
Everybody outside of the SEC is cheering for Oklahoma State to just whip their fucking ass.
I think even the SEC people are probably cheering for them.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be pretty bad loss for them. Like, oh, we're leaving your conference to go to this better conference, and then you kick our ass. Like, but I'll put it this way. I know very few people from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, but one person I do know, they went to my high school. They went to Oklahoma, and they said that they prefer Bedlam over Red River Rivalry because they said it is so close. Campuses are so close to each other. It's not a huge state. And if you live there long enough, you know multiple people from both sides. It's probably similar to Michigan State, where it's like one of those things where it's just an overlapping thing. Yes, and it's very personal. And it's like but here's the thing. The Oklahoma people don't call them little brother. They literally just don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Look at them. They look like they're on an even playing field, but they literally said that it is just nuts for that whole 60 minutes, whether it's at Oklahoma State. And they kind of said it's one of the most underrated rivalries in college sports. It's kind of sucks that it's just going to end because of conference realignment. I do think in 5 to 10 years, we'll see this game again on the schedule. But Mike Gundy's not going to be the coach at Oklahoma State anymore. Because he is furious that they're leaving.
Tickets are $370, and the game of the week we'll talk about in a minute. I'm sure tickets are $150. So it just kind of shows you what's going on here.
Yeah. We'll talk about one more game, and then we'll get to it. So 7:30. It's a nice slot if you're looking for some ranked games. Washington travels to USC to kind of show that they see if they actually belong, type thing. This is kind of a statement game where they could
76.
Yeah.
And I think it's an easy over.
Yeah.
Over.
It might be 50 to 30.
Okay. First off, Washington put up 36 points against Oregon's defense.
Mm-hmm.
They may score every possession against USC's defense.
You thought Oregon scoring 80 in the first week was crazy. This might be like 80 to 30, 80 to 40. I mean,
it might be.
I don't know.
Washington's defense sucks too, though. Like I think USC hangs with them here.
I think it could be this could be
the anti-Big Ten West. This could be this could be touchdown.
Yeah,
field goal,
you're gonna have the two games on your screen. Like, well, obviously there's another game involved, but two of the games you got Michigan, Purdue is gonna be disgusting, and then you're gonna have Washington, USC, where it's all touchdowns.
Yeah, it's gonna be like points. Yeah, you won't see the end of the 76. Wow, that's wild. And then I think the last Cozy, got anything more on that?
No, I mean, I'm taking Washington to win by 2+ touchdowns because at some point Caleb Williams will throw a pick.
I kind of like that. I think that's actually not a bad take. I think this will be.
I wonder how many NFL scouts are going to be at this game. I mean, both teams are littered with offensive pros.
Yeah.
I mean, offense, but
I said
defense. Defense.
Maybe a defensive lineman. Maybe.
And then the other game you'll have on your screen, the big one, pretty much for the first. I think it's for first place in the SEC West, right?
Okay, so
East or whatever.
Not necessarily.
Okay, so not necessarily.
We got one team that's got they're laying in the weeds, baby. Mike and Chap's guy, Lane Train.
The Land Sharks over here are they have something to say about that, and I mean they play Georgia, so just that's where you got to kind of watch it. But outside of that, it's kind of like
because remember LSU lost out of conference, so they only have one conference loss.
Yeah, they only have one conference loss. So this is technically going to be for a 3-way tie with. Basically, so LSU after this has Florida and then A&M in conference. So my thing is, if LSU wins, they're going to have one loss in the conference.
Yeah.
Alabama has Kentucky and Auburn, which I'm calling my shot right now. Auburn is beating Bama. They're figuring it out. Auburn's finally figuring it out as the season.
Where's the game?
It's at Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's at Auburn, and they had Georgia on the ropes and should have beat Georgia. So, I honestly think that it's all going to come down to Ole Miss against Georgia or LSU. This could be the winner, but if Ole Miss could beat Georgia, then obviously Ole Miss I think will go. And a 3-way tie would be interesting to see who.
I don't know how the tiebreaker works exactly.
I'll tell you this right now, man. The SEC is their spot in the playoff is very much not guaranteed right now.
No,
I want that on the record.
Certain extent. I mean, if you were to beat us in a close game, and you have a Georgia team who loses to Ole Miss and then loses another game somewhere along the road. Or Tennessee, per se, are they going to put a 2-loss SEC championship team in over a 1-loss Ohio State team who lost close on the road at Michigan?
Not even that. Here's your strategy. All right, Florida State runs the table.
Yeah.
For argument's sake, we'll say Big Ten runs the table, just not to get into it right now.
Yep.
And then we'll say Washington runs the table, hypothetically speaking.
Yep.
Texas wins out.
Yeah,
Texas has the win. Texas would go in over Alabama because
here's the weird thing: if Washington loses, but if Washington loses to Oregon, let's say hypothetically in the Pac-12 championship, and they both have one loss, do they view that Oregon loss in the Pac-12 championship better than Texas just winning it out?
Based on history, if you avenge your loss, they view it as like you're undefeated. That's basically what they've kind of said before. So, like, Oregon has a chance to win out. If Georgia loses a game, they're very on the brink of losing, especially if it's to Alabama. And if Texas wins out, it gets really dicey. Really bad.
Here's the thing, though. They will put a 1-loss Georgia team in.
Yeah.
Defend their crown.
You sure?
They will. Yeah. 1,000% confident, yes.
Would you put them in over a Texas team that's 12-1 that beat Bama?
No, I probably wouldn't. But will the committee? Yes. The committee will. The committee is very much, in my opinion, I believe, they want to see teams defend their title. They'll want to see Georgia defend their title.
Well, I don't care. I'm just going to call it now. LSU is going to beat Alabama this weekend.
I agree, too. I think LSU wins. I think Alabama is been overrated, and we can talk about that. They've kind of turned a corner here with their Tennessee win, but once again, they were down 20-7 at halftime. And
if you're trying to tell me that a team that averages 47 points a game on offense isn't going to win against a team who, I mean,
How many points do they allow, Zach?
Yeah, a lot. Well,
I mean, right now, this is going to be a classic Saban game. I'm taking alternate lines for Bama and alternate unders in this game. Like,
you think so?
This has like 24-14, 24-17 written all over it. Like, I don't know. Bama's got their mojo back. Listen, I'd love nothing more for them than their season to be over in I guess technically it'd be November, but the weekend of October.
It just makes me nervous, especially when the last game they played was against Tennessee and they gave up 20 points just in the first half.
Most were short field, but yeah.
But I don't think that Tennessee's offense is that much better than LSU's. You know what I mean? I think LSU can put up a lot more points, a lot better.
Oh, for sure. But
the problem,
respectable defense, and LSU is like not even top 50 in defense. So
should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And
it
again,
reminds me of the Tennessee-Alabama game of last year. Honestly, like where LSU's got a really good receiver, a really good quarterback. And no defense.
So again, the big thing the last game, I mean, we covered all the games, but the last big one for all you sickos out there, America's team, 10:30 at night, baby, go Arizona, no matter what. You're
missing something huge, Zach. You're missing your national holiday.
What's that?
Happening tomorrow.
Oh, what, Halloween?
No.
Oh, no.
About Halloween. What's tomorrow?
Oh, we got our first playoff announcement.
Even better than that.
What's even better than that?
Maction.
Oh,
Maction tomorrow. Yes. There we go.
About Maction.
There we go.
Yeah,
I was Halloween tomorrow. It's first day of Maction. Get your priorities straight,
I was ranting all day about that, about how I was so excited.
You were.
I totally forgot. Okay. We don't ever talk about the MAC teams.
Sunbelt's kind of taking the atmosphere out of Maction a little bit.
But hey, Buffalo travels to Toledo. Toledo's 7-1. I mean, if they would beat Illinois, they would have been ranked, and they would be in a good spot right now.
Can we do a quick who we think is going to get the bowl bid this year? Because I actually think it's going to be Air Force against Tulane, and I think that the committee's not going to be fun about it, and they're just going to give two teams like Air Force and Tulane a spot to play in the.
Well, you can't forget about Liberty. You can't forget about Liberty.
Oh, well, Liberty, yeah. Here's the thing. James Madison, Liberty, all could go undefeated. And
they could be
yeah. Well, James Madison can't make a bowl game.
I am the only person on this podcast that stands against the tyrannical nature of the NCAA, and the fact that James Madison is not allowed to play in a bowl game is a bunch of BS. Okay,
I agree.
If people were smart, I know Barstow has a bowl game. They should do a freaking honorary scrimmage between Jacksonville State and James Madison as the FU NCAA bowl, and it should be played at the Big House. Okay, I don't make the rules, but that'd be awesome.
No, not at the Big House, but we'll play it somewhere.
No.
We'll play it in Arizona.
Come on, in the snow, 100,000 people. We'd sell that thing out.
I would go. I would go.
Rich Rod back in the Big House. Come on, that puts asses in seats.
So he's gonna lose.
Probably. James Madison. James Madison.
Not last night. They almost lost last night.
James Madison can go 12-0, and they'd be. I'd let them claim national championship.
But yeah, no, Maction tomorrow.
Unless Michigan wins, and then we're gonna
2 games Wednesday. It's gonna be interesting. To see what happens, but it's the first week it's back. I wish they would start earlier in the year.
Well, I'm just gonna say Wednesday night, Akron, Kent State. Good luck to both teams. I love that rivalry. It's for a wagon wheel, if anyone doesn't know. So yeah, it's
pretty ridiculous that they have 4 Ohio schools playing in the next 2 days.
I mean,
we need more schools in the MAC.
I was gonna say half the schools in the MAC are from Ohio.
Yeah. But yeah, the Maction.
I'll be making my debut at a Maction game against Ohio, the Ohio Buffalo game. I should be in attendance.
Nice.
I think I can afford the free admission. I'm gonna check.
It's free admission.
And I'll see if I can get in there. I'm like 99% sure it's free admission.
Oh, yeah, and then I'll probably attend the MAC championship, which should be a good game.
Hell yeah.
whenever they have that. That's always
Dude,
a fun
Toledo's
game.
a wagon.
Yeah, Toledo's really good. Like I said, if they beat Illinois, they'd be ranked right now. They had them on the ropes. They just couldn't finish. So let's talk about the other important thing tomorrow. I think it comes out at 8:00. The first college football rankings, the top 4. We'll just go through top 4, first 2 teams you think are out, and we'll go from there. So Blake, you want to start it off?
I think so. I was actually doing a deep dive with this the other day, kind of looking at like the historical, basically what's the difference between the AP and the playoff week 1. Obviously, there's typically big discrepancies. I think we'll see. My guess for what it will be, not my personal, but what it will be. My personal will come out tomorrow on the channel. I would say it's going to be Ohio State 1. It's going to be Washington or Florida State 2 and 3, kind of interchangeable. It's going to be Georgia 4, Michigan 5. I don't know. It would be 6, maybe. I mean, because Texas, Alabama, and Oregon really are kind of like the same team. Obviously, Texas over Alabama. It's whether they want to put Oregon in there or not. I don't know, but I think Michigan will be 5, Georgia will be 4, and people are going to lose their minds. That's my prediction.
Yeah, Cody, what do we think?
Okay, I got Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Florida State 3, Washington 4. Ohio State 5, Oregon 6.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to go.
I think a lot of people, I think the committee is going to look at our wins and go, yeah, they're against quality opponents, but your offense isn't what it should be. And offense revolves around everything. But everyone else out there, keep doubting Common Core, please.
You just doubted him earlier.
Yeah, you doubted him. You can't say that. You doubted him.
Hey, I said he had a bad game. He had a bad game. He did. He looked like a deer in headlights. He'll be fine.
By the way, that one, I forgot what it was. The one time he literally stood there, and there was a dude running in his face for 3 seconds. I go, is he?
Is he okay?
I'm not going to lie. He looked like he was concussed, to be honest.
Yeah. So
you know what? I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think he got concussed on his first when we had the turnover on downs where he fumbled, but we still recovered.
Yeah.
I think he got concussed, to be honest.
Think about the kids, Buckeyes. All right, some things are bigger than sports.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the same approach as Blake. I think it's reasonable to say that they're going to do ranked opponents because that's the way that they've done it in the past. But I am going to change it up. I still think Georgia's going to be 1. I think that they won't move them. They're back-to-back national champions.
Got like 1 ranked win.
They haven't really lost.
I think they were number 4 last year in the first rankings.
Yeah, I just think that the way that they've played, and I mean they haven't played like a tough schedule, but they are the number 1 team. They have won back-to-back national champions, and they're going to give them some respect this time around. I think they're going to stay at 1. I do think Ohio State's going to be number 2, based on wins, even though I mean week 12 is going to be the big week that proves kind of where they're at.
I mean, we might as well not show up that week because we're the huge underdogs.
Yeah. So I think Ohio State's going to be 2 based on wins. I think Washington will be 3 based on the fact that they beat Oregon and Oregon's looking better and better each week. I think that's a very fair statement to say. And I think they're going to have Michigan actually at 4. I think they'll have them just kind of still in the playoff picture as of now. I kind of debated in my head, do I want to put them at 4 or 5? I think both spots are kind of reasonable right now, but I think they're going to stay at 4. Washington will be at 5 because they're, in honesty, at this moment, they've had the closest games for an undefeated opponent. So they should be the last team before a team that has lost. And Oregon will stay at 6 because, like I said before, they're looking better and better each week.
Hold on. Did you put Washington at 5?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you put them at 3.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Washington at 5 or Washington at 3. Florida State, I meant at 5.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, you just ranked Washington twice.
No, I said
Florida
twice.
State and Washington are the same team to me, so I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, I will say Washington will be 3 because of the fact that they beat Oregon, and Florida State will be 5. I think they could put Florida State at 4, and Michigan at 5. But I think that they're going to give Michigan some
Michigan's
respect.
going to be 5, and I cannot wait for the idiots in my fan base to have an aneurysm on Twitter. I'll be in Canada while it's happening, and as soon as I get back and check my phone at the rest stop halfway through, which should be like 8 o'clock or so, I'll be able to check my phone, and it'll be like 200 notifications from X. It's gonna be great. People are
gonna here's the thing.
Can I actually chime in on this? I love these early rankings because I believe one year, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the first year of the playoff system.
Yep.
Did they not have Florida State was in the top 4?
Yep.
But I believe 1 and 2 was Mississippi State and
Dak
Mississippi.
Prescott, number 1.
Yes. Mississippi State was 1. Ole Miss was number 2. Florida State was 3. And Bama was 4.
I'll pull it up right now.
Everyone had their heads fly off because they were like, oh, man, there's no way the SEC is getting 3 teams in it. I remember going, okay, who cares? It's the first rankings. We got a lot of football to play. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State have to play each other.
So, yeah, week 1. Let's see. The first week they did it was Mississippi State is number 1, Florida State is 2, Auburn is 3, and Ole Miss is 4.
Okay, it was Auburn. That's right. Yep.
It ended up being, let's see.
Was Alabama 1.
Oregon, Florida State, and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was 2014, right?
Yeah, 2014. Literally, that's.
I don't think it's happened very often where the number 1. Let me see how many times it's happened.
Yeah, number 8, Michigan State. Number 15, Nebraska.
So it's only happened.
East Carolina was 23. That was when Michigan scheduled them. So all the haters relax.
So it's only been, let's see, 3 seasons so far in the playoffs where the top number 1 seed has stayed the same. Twice with Alabama and once it looks like with Clemson. So the number 1 seed has changed every single year except for 3. Through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Rutgers
8, 9
money
years.
line. See, it makes sense, people. No, but I remember last year it was Tennessee was ranked number 1 for like 5 days and got freaking whacked.
Yes.
Hey, just remember the first rankings that Ohio State in 2014 for the college football playoff rankings. Nebraska, Arizona State, Baylor, Arizona, all were ahead of us.
RG3 year or no? Am I totally off on that?
No, you're off. That was like 2013.
Yeah.
He was on the cover of 2013. That's why I thought it.
So, 2012.
Yeah. Literally, Nebraska was ranked ahead of Ohio State that year. Arizona State, Baylor, and Arizona. We were ranked 16th, by the way, in the first college football playoff rankings, which is wild. I mean, the thing is, and I was just thinking about this, there's no team out there right now that I could be like, that's going to happen this year. Like, there's no team that I could see that's going to travel from like the 16th ranked team in the country all the way up to getting in the playoffs.
Oh, I could tell you a team.
Who's your team? Let's hear it.
The Louisville Cardinals.
No.
No?
No.
I'm trying to think of teams that have 1 loss that could go on a crazy run. I think they're like the only one. I mean, maybe Ole Miss.
Let me pull it up.
Well, hold on. There is a game at 3:30 on CBS this week between Missouri and Georgia, and I believe Missouri is 7-1.
Yeah.
Now, Missouri has the opportunity to do that if they are to win this week.
Yeah, I mean, they're 20-point underdogs, so
God bless them. If Missouri were to win, how high up would they jump?
Top 5? No. Depends on the LSU. If LSU beats Alabama, that helps them.
I think
lost LSU.
I think it's time we start asking we're going to have to start asking the question. So if I don't know.
Here's Louisville. Louisville's got Virginia Tech at home, Virginia at home, at Miami, which is a home game because no one goes to their games, and then Kentucky at home. Yeah. I mean, they could find themselves 11-1, as a 8-point, 9-point underdog to FSU.
Could we see?
Maybe, possibly, but I don't think they're going to win.
Louisville, as ESPN predicts, the Ohio State Louisville bowl game is going to go crazy. That's the current predictions. I
don't care. Whoever plays Air Force is going to be in for a treat. It's going to be a game.
I'll just say this. I love the 12-team playoff idea, but I think this year is really showing me that maybe 12 is too many.
Oh, 100%. 6 or 8 was the perfect numbers.
Because right now, Alabama is the 8th ranked team in the country, and I am a full-fledged believer that they're not that good. Penn State is 9, and Ohio State handily took care of Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close at points, but it was like I never felt like we were going to lose the game.
You can look right now. The playoff in theory would be Georgia, just based off ranking. Relax.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Washington get buys. It'd be Ohio State versus Notre Dame at Ohio State for the first round. Then it would be, who is it? Oregon against Ole Miss. That game would be awesome, by the way. At Oregon. Then it'd be Texas, Oklahoma.
Again, they're going to play 3 times this year.
Actually, no, Texas would be the 5 seed. Sorry. So it'd be Texas, Notre Dame. Then it'd be Ohio State, Ole Miss. Then it would be Oregon.
Well, you got to remember, Notre Dame wouldn't be in. Air Force would be.
No, Notre Dame counts as a non-Group of 5 team.
No, they don't.
Yes.
Do they really?
No,
yes.
I had somebody post it earlier.
That's their scam, Cozy. Yes. Trust me, we're on the same page here. They're ruining everything. It's Notre Dame. Join a conference.
Yes. There's no way. There's no way
I think they're going to change that loophole potentially, but then how do you rule it? What do you rule them as?
A group of 5.
Exactly. So they get the group of 5 bid.
Zach, did you lose power over there?
No.
Oh.
It's a very interesting thing. Because obviously you're going to redo the whole thing.
Somebody puts out a mock one every single week, and I'm trying to see if I can find it.
The Pac-12 isn't going to get it. I saw it because it was Ohio State versus Air Force would be awesome.
Yeah,
but
here's a projected
if you look at it, because obviously right now the Pac-12 has an auto bid next year. So
it would be
they're going to have to fix that quickly.
Yeah, this one would be Texas versus Penn State. The winner plays Georgia. Air Force versus Ohio State. The winner plays Oregon. Washington versus Oklahoma State. Winner plays Florida State. And
that's a projected one going forward.
LSU plays as Louisville. Winner plays Michigan.
But
so that would have been interesting.
I think Notre Dame still sneaks in, and that's why they should join a conference. They should get them out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
But Notre Dame versus Clemson in an all-time mid-off this weekend. I'm excited. So,
all right. Yeah, should be interesting.
We got any closing remarks, gentlemen?
No, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow and go action.
I don't know what your hike programs did, but we played at Omaha this past week.
And, we lost both games to the number 1 team in the country now. We dropped to 12, BC. And we got smoked by BC twice. I mean, we lost 6-4 and 5-2 or 5-1, but
I think we played like Lindenwood. I don't even know if that's a real team.
Yeah, it was like 9-1.
Lindenwood probably has the toughest hockey schedule ever because they played us 2 weeks ago.
I'm about to say I think we beat them at like 18-1 on aggregate. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, we won 4-0 on Saturday, and Friday night we tied it 2.
But we got a big weekend this weekend. We play at Ohio State first weekend of the conference, so that's good. Should be interesting to see what happens.
Don't worry, it's sweet over there. You should have no problem.
So we'll see how it goes.
Who will put up more points against Ohio State? The hockey team or the football team? That was mean.
The basketball team. Next question.
All noted.
Go Vols.
It was I love it. They post the graphic and it says
it said doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like yes.
My sister, dude. So my sister obviously she goes to Tennessee. And she's not like super locked in with sports, and she wants to troll all of her friends that went to Michigan State. She goes, Blake, what the hell is this? She goes, who edited this? Because it literally, Michael, the final
it
score
looks like it
doesn't count on the
score.
It's like because Tennessee beat Michigan State 89-88.
Yeah.
And what potentially is one of the greatest ideas of all time. These top 10 matchups for charity. Dude. Plus, both
as long as
the benches were wearing Hawaiian shirts. Awesome vibe.
As long as Izzo's the coach, I guarantee we're going to have one every year. And I think it's a great idea. I don't care if we're playing away. I don't care if we're
Michigan,
playing home.
Watch out for Michigan. We beat the brakes off of
Marquette. It was
114 to 111.
Yeah. like they had to add extra minutes just so they could see points on the board. Just so they
Yeah,
could
it was.
vote
They
it.
said they played NBA style. It was
Yeah.
4 quarters
12.
of 12.
Yeah. So, all right.
Alrighty.
Well, that's all we got for this week. Everybody have a nice week, and
Oh yeah, by the way, no bucks, and happy birthday to Brutus today.
yeah, we'll have a nice week.
Ew!
See everybody tomorrow. Ew, that's nasty.
See you guys.
See ya.